Agenda, sorry.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Fantastic. Okay. So I believe Carolyn will be running a little bit late. She's attending another meeting, but we can go ahead and get started. Do we have a quorum?
We do have quorum, yes, sir.
Fantastic. Okay. Is this our general meeting for the month end or is this our internal?
This is general meeting for the month, yes, sir.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, I do believe we can do a roll call. We've done the meeting approval, we've got the agenda approval, fantastic. Let's move on to reports. Membership reports. I think that's you can start with Tony. Straight into you.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, and just for minute's sake, I'll go ahead and move to approve both the minutes and agenda. I know we've had those out. If we can get a second, real quick, just so we make sure we get those recorded here.
I'll second.
All right, cool. Thanks, James. Yeah, membership doing well. Been to a couple events lately. I was on the Hill a couple weeks ago with the potential future NASA administrator. He sees great value in what we're doing, vice versa. So we're lobbying kind of on behalf of each other. So great things to come in the next couple years here, assuming that he gets confirmed. But great connections down there. Last I looked, we have 13 new members from the last general meeting. We do have interest, and I will bring this up to the executive committee next week. We do have interest from two different companies that are focusing on Mars that would like up to start up the Mars subchamber. Sorry, I just realized that I still have the waiting room on. Let me change that real quick so everybody can come in. But yeah, so we'll talk about that more next week. But we've got some interest there, so then that way we'll have the two subchambers. We'll be growing. Outside of that, again, looking good, still talking to people, making some connections, and then I've got a couple more reports here in a little bit I'll go over.
Fantastic. Well done. I saw your posts on socials. Well done. Good. Looking good. Okay. James.
Yeah, so I made up a marketing plan. If you allow me to share my screen, I can show you. I made a small PowerPoint. Um,
Sure, sure.
yeah, so it's still closed.
Oh, I thought I made you. Let me try one more time. There you go.
All right. Uh, Now, if I can find the, the PowerPoint, okay. That's always the challenge, right?
Yeah, no worries. Okay, while we hold for you, let me just recap on the Interplanetary Chamber of Commerce for our newcomers. We're a 501c business organization that represents businesses of all sizes in the commercial space industry. The Chamber offers networking opportunities, partnerships, and supports to businesses that are shaping the future of Interplanetary Chamber. We proudly represent businesses of all sizes, offering trusted support, partnership, and networking opportunities. And that's the projects that we're going to go through at the moment on a public forum. You up, James?
Yep. There it is. Okay. So let me just go to. I mean, so this goes through a lot of different parts of the organization. Obviously, we know our mission and our vision and mission, but this is just captured in here because we want to remember what we're all about as we're going through marketing. And then so a list of objectives uh, for the marketing team, which is I think it's just Derek and me and Andrew, right? For the marketing
Let's
team.
see. I've got that pulled up. Marketing right now is Andrew, Derek, James, and me. Correct. Yeah, so the four of us.
Yeah. And so the market, so, in the marketing, let's see, we go to here. So looking at the timeline, so this timeline is based for really we're going to launch our marketing events in 2025. And this is kind of a time lane. Definitely marketing and membership are tied hand in hand. We've got to look really good, to the potential members. So that's something early on that we need to work on in Q1. There are a couple space conferences in Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. So although this says 4 to 6, attending conferences, speaking at conferences, and having a booth should be like in front of mind for the whole year, right? If we see a nice conference that wow, we really want to get into, we should go for it. So even the satellite conference that Mohammed and I got a booth for, the booth was like less than half price because we're a startup. So it could be the same kind of thing, and we're like in a startup alley. So lots of people go to the startup alley because they want to see the new startup company. So that's kind of good. A lot of conferences have that, so we can maybe take advantage of that. And then
James,
yeah.
Which area? Which area?
Where's the conference at?
Yeah, it's in DC. It's in Washington, D.C. in
Okay.
March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything happening in New York at the moment? I just see a lot of on the socials, New York conferences happening. Is anyone around to be near there?
Muhammad is in New York. Muhammad, have you seen any conferences in New York?
Yeah, there was a New York Stock Exchange Space Summit, so a lot of short companies were there, and I did attend that, and I think Wakash was there as well, if he's still here in the meeting. So I'll tell you one thing here in New York City, we're not there yet in terms of space conferences and the space ecosystem or the defense, but organizations like DARPA, Space Force, Air Force, they're coming here, and we have a deep tech hub. It's called New Lab. And they're trying to build a space thesis and defense thesis. So if that helps, I'm happy to make an introduction there for you, Tani.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we also have Empire Space as one of our members as well, also trying to grow the space industry out there. So we're working. Yeah, so let's all try to get together and see what we can get going up there for more.
Yeah, we're actually hosting an event with them later next month.
Awesome. Yeah, good guys.
One thing,
and then just the last, just let me finish the last thing, and then Mahan, you could go. The last thing is just the last part of next year, on 10 through 12. We really want to organize our first annual conference as the Interplanetary Chamber for launch in 2026. I think it's our goal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
And James, real quick, are you able to get onto the share drive so you can share that with the marketing team? We can take a look at it, make edits where needed or whatnot.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've got a document, and then the PowerPoint is coming from the document.
Okay, perfect. Nice.
The PowerPoint's just an outline. The document's more detailed.
Cool. Let me get this back up here. Sorry.
Oh, now I have to allow you.
No, I got you. I got you. I already got it. I hit the wrong button there. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't see Carolyn on right now, but we do have Amanda and Kelvin on, who are both on the education committee as well. One of you two want to take it?
So I don't have an update for education committee today. Kelvin, did you want to talk a bit about what you've kind of been looking at there?
Oh yeah, so I think in the last meeting we were looking at the co-op opportunities in different regions. So I'm looking at emerging regions as well, Africa, Asia, stuff like that. And also with the talent pipeline, we're still going through discussions with Caroline to create, opportunities for the students with, the ICoC members. So yeah, that's basically it for me.
Okay, and
My side.
progressing well, or do you think it's tapering down towards as it's year end right now? Are you flat out?
Excuse me?
Are you are you flat out? Are you busy now, or are you tapering down towards year end? Are you busy?
Yeah. So a lot of things are going on with the academy. You know,
Fantastic.
we are onboarding students from Ontario Tech soon, and we are working on our core curriculum, Space Career 101, to introduce to the students about, you know, the overview of space careers, the opportunities they can get in. And we have a specialized program called the Cybersecurity in Space. So
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to introduce to the students as well. And yeah, we're hoping for a successful pilot phase.
Fantastic. On that note, if you're into blogging, please write a one pager on cybersecurity in space. I see that our blogs are very thin. I'll be the only one been writing blogs. So if you guys can write some on good topics and Tony can post, fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was definitely also one of the marketing efforts, as well as white papers, blogging, social media posting.
And Derek, I appreciate the reminder. That post I just did on LinkedIn, I'll shoot that over to the website as well. I keep forgetting to post stuff there as well.
There's no
Also,
problem. Great.
everybody should send invites to the ICoC LinkedIn page from their network that's in the space industry, at least.
That is a very good point. So I see that every month we have 250 invites that we can invite our network. So if one person wants to take it per month, invite 250 people, and then the next person gets 250, people, and the next person, someone else gets 250 people. That way we have a consistency of building the network on our immediate network. Because the time that I want to invite someone from my network, I see that the credits are always gone. So if we have a set slot, that would be great.
Yeah,
Derek,
over the past year, I've invited my whole network, which is about 1,700 people. So I think I've got a pretty good grip of it.
yeah, Derek, why don't you take this turn? Why don't you go ahead and use these credits?
Okay, sure. I'm on it. Okay.
We also have
real-
good success. We had a pairing up between the Space Career Academy and Roswell Conservation. Roswell was able to bring in some volunteers that might convert over to staff, or they're creating curriculum for the Space Career report. And so Kelvin, I've started going through the videos and stuff there, and have a report for you that I owe you there, that one. But that's a success there. Great work. So Kelvin was able to, we passed over, I think, 6 volunteer contacts that had volunteered for a position that we posted on Volunteer Match. And Kelvin was able to convert one to an interview at this point, right? And that's a good start on the curriculum. Hopefully we can even put a Chamber of Commerce curriculum in there, something like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
All right.
yeah, that's great. That would be so. With that, we can use some of those for the research end at Roswell as well.
Yeah, anybody who wants to work with me on Volunteers Match, if you are able to coordinate volunteers, you have the ability or time or energy to coordinate volunteers, it's very easy for me to get volunteers. And so if you could pass me what you need to volunteer for, and then we can make a partnership agreement between Roswell and your organization to get a volunteer working on that part. In this case, we did space conservation. Roswell does conservation, and so we brought in people who are interested in specifically conservation in space, and to come be part of the Space Career Academy.
Sure. And I must say, I've been slacking on that side as well. I've been literally back to backs on meetings the last couple of weeks. So I'll pick up on that with you in the new year.
I owe you a bunch of things too, Derek.
Okay.
Everybody free to contact me and let me know what I owe you here, and then we'll get working on it over this.
Perfect.
But thank you for everybody. This is awesome. So
Yeah, man. Hey, Kelvin, real quick before we move on, just curious. So I've got some connections, different universities around the country that do, actually the world now, I guess at this point, that have different space programs are starting to do that. What's the best way to get them in contact with you, or are you taking new universities right now?
So we want to start off our pilot with Ontario Tech first because that's home base.
Yeah.
Then we're going to scale south, basically, and expand. So
Okay.
depending on how the pilot phase goes, we just replicate that with other universities moving forward. So we
Okay.
want to take it one step at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Just want to make sure before I start.
Yeah.
What's that?
We open to having like exploration conversations with them as well. So they can definitely reach out to our emails and we can start the exploration process discovery.
Okay,
Well,
that sounds good.
directly south is us here in Michigan, and the University of Michigan has a space program for the university system in Michigan. So we might need to discuss that. I'm part of that that University of Michigan space program as well.
That's interesting. A lot of opportunities to scale. Looking forward to that.
I think we should all be talking to James about how to get onto that. That's really interesting, James.
Yeah, no, it's a great program.
Yeah, we've got. I've been. I'm close with Embry-Riddle, University of North Dakota. There's a lot of different schools out there with space programs. I'm fortunate. I get to work with them on a daily basis already. So yeah, I'm excited to grow our education network too. Michigan's one of them for sure. Ohio State's a lot of them are out there. So yeah, definitely excited to get as many signed up as we can.
Have you created an FAA report about the Interplanetary Chamber of Commerce to add into the curriculum? Does the FAA have a? They would need to know about us, right? As far as a thing.
I can't. As a federal employee of the FAA, I cannot make those lines. But hopefully, starting sometime next year, I will be able to. So
Who would be able to then? Could we? How do you kind of like every organization has a way to submit new information to them, and I'd say we'd be a relevant, relevant even for a Wikipedia almost. There's we would have to get I know for like Wikipedia, we need to we need to find a third party able to write a story about us. That's not writing the story, right? And then that's how we get onto Wikipedia. I'm sure but in the FAA, I'm sure they have an intake form or something for new organizations that deal, so if you could scrounge up the intake form or whatever we could do that's not you, that you could use your knowledge of both organizations to help us, to get us recognized by the FAA, so to speak, or
So I know Kelvin Coleman and all the people in charge of the commercial space side of the FAA, so I could definitely figure that out, and I'll leave it to one of y'all to do the work on that.
I wonder on the education end too, because Ontario Tech is the partner, if we look at who we're considered partner institutions with and share the information via that too. That's another way to get it out that way.
Absolutely.
Can you put that on the list, Tony? And I promise, new year, new me. That's what I've decided.
Absolutely, happy to.
Yeah.
And make sure to invite Sarah. I know we've had on the marketing end or the website end, wherever that is in here, we've had that's new business update on website edits. Okay, so we've been working on
Sarah's my A+ teaching assistant, so she comes everywhere I come, Andrew.
Exactly. So I've had a couple
we're a
meetings
team.
with and she submitted to me some videos from the students about their take on the website, this kind of thing. So I was able to get through one of those videos so far. I have to maybe we could put them in a shared folder for the team, something like that. I think it was a direct email to me, or could email out to the team, or some way to allow the team to access all of those that they're submitted directly to a shared folder that is organized by you, Amanda, maybe something like that has all those.
Exactly.
Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah, it'll be new me and new Sarah. Our schedules are cleared a little bit come January, so we'll have more time to work on this stuff.
And we can all share in the folder. I know we already had an existing website edits kind of file, some kind of spreadsheet and things, so we could start to consolidate those into the website folder that has the tiers of access in the folder. And then, because we're kind of gearing up, I know that's part of what Sarah and I are doing now, is looking to how can we gear up for this class next semester, right? And carry over now that we this semester was a little slower start, or it was the start anyway, and so we've kind of got some end of the semester items, but now it's if we can find the right people matched for the next semester. I think that was kind of part of our target, was to be prepared for that.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's always growing pains in the beginning, right? And then we're able to kind of move faster as we go.
Exactly. So we made a headway in that. Sarah created I believe it was Sarah that wrote it anyway. It's a WordPress kind of document that would outline a position that the students could fill in there, and so she was able to get it into a paper format of how we would, as the Interplanetary Chamber of Commerce, we would provide the website. We provide that real world access to a whole bunch of people trying to hack us daily and all kind of things like that, where then the students would be able to come into that real world environment and help us to manage those signups and sort out the spam signups from the real ones and those kinds of things, and get real world access to a website that's running.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think the students are really tech savvy, and I think they could add some real value.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me, I'm sounding old.
In that kind of, as the company, we're providing the internship, and so it's more what we found, and I think the direction is that as the company, it's good for us to think about what curriculum access are we offering these students, what do we need help with, and how can we create kind of an internship position, rather than saying, okay, in general, help us out. We would say, okay, we need an intern, and there were three main categories. Then was the website security, the website front end, and the website back end. And so those were the three basic student positions that one or more students could fill, and they could join part of the team to learn those specifics and to start to help us to manage those three particular items. Most people, when they come in and make a video about the website, they're purely on a front end basis, right? They're saying we think that, in the one that I watched, it was a young student compared our website to the International Chamber of Commerce website, right? And so that was the topic of the video. They would switch back and forth between the two and say, this one has these features, this one has these features, and what was good about each one, and how could we incorporate those into ours to improve ours. And so that was kind of the topic there. So that was a front end person, right, that fulfilling that video. And then if we could come up with kind of an internship, especially in partnership with Space Career Foundation or Space Career Academy, we would have some kind of partnership with them, which allowed a Canadian organization to partner with Amanda, because Amanda's criteria is that this organization that she's working with has to be a Canadian organization. And from us, we're a U.S. organization, but we're internationally focused, so we would have that partnership agreement that we need between Space Career Academy and Ontario Tech and other organizations like that.
And like the beauty of those things is a lot of the funding is then tied to it, and we have the Canadian funding partner to get those things. So when we talk internship and co-op, just to give you guys an idea, like that's typically 70 to 90% we can get funded if we have the Canadian partner.
Nice.
So there's lots of opportunities.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's good.
Real quick, just I know we kind of jumped ahead a little bit. Just real quick on the lobbying and networking, just so you guys know that's all there. Like I was saying, we've already kind of been lobbying on the Hill. That one's all taken care of. Networking and events. I've been kind of doing a lot of one-on-one networking. Mohammed, you're hired. You're already doing that on your own. You're right here in this meeting, so thank you. The events, we've got, sounds like Mohammed and James are going to be down in DC for a conference, which is going to be great. One of those conferences I'll be at, that's actually probably both of them that Mohammed's going, I'll be at Washington Space Business Roundtable with the U.S. Space Force, as well as the Italian embassy, Space Days Embassy. They're doing an event there. It was great last year. That's where I got a lot of connections. And then also in January, sorry, my youngest here joining me. In January, I will be speaking at SpaceCom in Orlando, doing a Tina talk there. So that'll be a 20-30 minute kind of plug. on our organization, which will be beneficial. So that's all paid for and all that kind of stuff. Thanks, stuff. Sorry. So that's all paid for by them. So that'll be beneficial for sure, starting off the year with the conference.
We
Fantastic.
did have another success. I think I have to post it somewhere, but somebody contacted us at iChamberX. They develop underwater pipeline sensor equipment. They're from Germany, I believe, and they are testing submarine pipeline sensing equipment, and they're looking for an iridium satellite technology that would plug into their Raspberry Pi that they could run in their underwater drone, and the drone would swim by pipelines and then uses this pipeline software. So they contacted us on iChamberX looking for somebody who knew about iridium satellite equipment. And how that,
You know one, Andrew.
you know about that? Okay, perfect. Well,
I'm saying I'm sure you do know someone.
I'm sure I probably do, but it was a success anyway for us that we've
that's awesome.
We've organically gained a question from the audience of looking for this iridium satellite equipment for a Raspberry Pi. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's great news.
Fantastic. While we're on the topic, I know Tony's going to post the link, but I was invited to a really high-level industry event. Lots of South African governments and defense and South African Space Force, if you want to call it that, talking about the right supply chain of satellite connectivity for the South African communications infrastructure, how it needs to go US side and not China side. And it was a really good conversation. And they literally, I was given a mic and I said, my 5 minutes of fame, said who we are, what we do, and why we do it. And I represented us. So it was fantastic. And it was good to sit at the Space Force table for lunch again. And lots of questions on who we are, what we do, and how we do it. And then we had a group photo session with really important dignitaries after that, and some really good scientists. And they just shoved me to the front of the picture, so I was right in the front. So you'll see that picture with all the decision makers, and I'm literally in the front. It's like in the front row. That was a great picture. So
congratulations.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to post that, but thanks for the reminder. I'll make sure I get that.
Sure. So it was a talk on lasercom and RF communication and satellite communication and parts and the correct supply chain and how supply chains are not to be compromised in communications. It was a good conversation. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I do real quick. I know we talked a little bit about the website edits. Andrew or Amanda, anything more on that to add real quick?
No, I think it's something we're going to progress on, right, Andrew? We've kind of started, and we'll see more progress in the next term.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we're progressing. We're getting there. We've got
awesome.
Amanda and Sarah is the right.
And Sarah's much techier than me, which helps everything along the way.
Exactly. And we did our first WordPress kind of tutorial session, me and Sarah. So we're going to go continue along and turn her into the expert of the website. So.
Nice. That's exciting for sure. So the next thing I want to talk about, the new business, we've got a bunch of different committees we've kind of stood up over the last couple of months. As you see, we've gone through all the committee reports. One of the things that's been really big on the front of a lot of businesses' minds, members' minds, are financial services. So over the past week, in the past week or maybe even 2, I've already connected, I think, 3 of our members, if not 4 of our members, with different investors to get funds for different things, grants, all of those kind of things. I've been kind of just doing it one-on-one just because I know enough of the investors. But I think it would be beneficial, especially with Andrew, you being kind of in the financial industry a little bit more than I am. I'm actually a lot more than I am. It'd be great if we could have a financial services committee where we can kind of work on those things. I know that Andrew, me, and Carolyn, we met with one of those investors. I created a financial services application form for our members. I just wanted to at least bring it to the group to see if that would be something that we could create as a
Yep.
subcommittee.
This is a great topic for XCOM, not during a general meeting.
Just wanted, it was on the list of things to talk about, so I at least wanted to bring it up, whether we vote on it now or not.
No, this has got to go to XCOM first and should have been discussed at XCOM first.
Sounds great.
Okay, old business.
I don't think anything to report from the old business.
Okay, new websites we've done. Financial services, please put me onto that. I know it's not the topic, but put me onto that as well. And then open discussions. General.
So we know we've got Melogen Labs here today to talk a little bit about their organization, and then I guess we'll probably open it up to see who else would like to talk about theirs if they're here. So Mohammed or James, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. So I do have a 5 to 7 minutes presentation if we want to do that, or I'm happy to just walk you through about what we're doing and give you a little context about Melogen Labs. What are we doing?
Your call. You're a host. You can share if you'd like.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So I was given context on making a presentation, so I did that and I'll go ahead and talk about it. Okay, awesome. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for having me here. I'm Mohammed, co-founder of Melogen Labs, and we're building space shields essentially to protect electronics and satellites from radiations in space. Um, the reason we're working on that is really because space is increasingly becoming a densely populated frontier. Currently, there are already 12,000 plus satellites orbiting Earth, our moon, and several other planets, with 24,000 plus more satellites expected to be launched in the next 3 to 5 years. And it's not just satellites. We have more than 30 space tourism companies worldwide, meaning hundreds of off-world travelers are expected in just the next year. However, as space becomes more populated by electronics and humans, we also must protect ourselves from the greatest danger that comes with stepping outside of Earth's protective bubble, space radiation. It is the most challenging obstacle to overcome to get to Mars. So, space radiation comprises of high energy particles, primarily protons and heavy ions, originating from beyond our solar system. And when astronauts embark on space missions, they're exposed to these cosmic rays, which can penetrate spacecraft, causing glitches in computer systems and human bodies by directly affecting brain function. So, for example, consider clapping your hands. The kinetic energy of your hands transforms into sound, heat, and vibration. Your hands might hurt a little if you tried it from the impact of the energy transformation. And it's literally the same thing with cosmic rays when they interact with satellites or humans or even spacecraft. In space radiation has different types. One of the biggest is galactic cosmic rays, and they have a broad energy spectrum that ranges from about 100 mega electron volts upward to as much as about 10 to the 14 MeV. That's about 16 joules. And a proton, single proton from galactic cosmic rays with about 100 MeV kinetic energy has the same energy as bowling ball with a mass of about 8 kilograms, dropped from a height of about 1 meter. And that's enough to actually significantly dent a metal surface or crush a sturdy object beneath it. And that's why 38% of satellites fail every year because of the bit flips and the glitches. And when astronauts leave low Earth orbit, in 3 months, they'll accumulate over 80 to 85 units of radiation. That's about an average of 0.93 units of radiation every day. And let's put that in perspective. On Earth, we get exposed to about 5 to 7 millisieverts of radiation, depending on the age, smoking, etc. But astronauts would exceed the natural radiation levels by at least 200 times for many organisms and tissues. And the safe exposure for astronauts is about 600 millisieverts of radiation, so 600 units throughout their careers. but they would accumulate over 14% of that in just 90 days in deep space beyond low Earth orbit on their way to Mars. And sadly, the current industry standard is aluminum to shield from radiation, which actually fails to protect our satellites, electronics, and humans in space environment. It adds millions to build costs and launch costs, and yet it decays because of secondary radiation, about 3 to 5% every year. So secondary radiation is essentially when primary particles of space radiation collide with aluminum or shielding material. They create scattered more radiation inside the material, so that leads to the degradation. And as you know, we're going back to the moon and we're becoming a spacefaring civilization. But if we really want to achieve multiplanetary human civilization, we really need to solve this. So that's what we're doing at Melody Labs. We are a team of experts, and our mission is to help every satellite space company solve the problem. And in pursuit of that, we have developed a proprietary composite of a hydrogen-infused polymer and a biomaterial to effectively shield our electronics and humans. It is about 3 times lighter than the industry standard, 2 times more effective at shielding at different orbits, and about 5 to 7 times more, it increases the lifespan of electronics. So overall, our customers save about 60% in shielding related cost. And lastly, I'll end it by saying that if there's one thing that you really walk away from this is that space radiation is the biggest problem, stopping us from becoming a spacefaring civilization. And at Knowledge Labs, we're solving it. Thank you. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out anytime. And happy to answer any questions you guys have right now.
Thank you, Mohammed. That's actually very interesting. Congratulations. It's a good cause.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mohammed. That was great.
Great.
I tried keeping it simple. So.
Right.
No, you did great. It was perfect.
Thank you. I see Carolyn says thanks as well. Good. Okay. Tony, anything else on the agenda?
Nope, nothing else on the agenda. We did have another gentleman who it looks like he was having issues. He had logged off and back on a couple of times. So I was going to see if he wanted to talk about his organization as well. But now it's just kind of the open discussions and concerns. So we can just kind of open up the room if anybody has anything else they would like to talk about before we close out the meeting.
That's all from my side.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly chime in and share that if you are looking for conferences or events for next year, I am building a list for Melody Labs for the events that are announced or are going to be announced in the space industry that we're essentially targeting to go. So I'm happy to share that if that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Great, everyone. Well, thank you very much. Adjourned.
Yeah, sounds great. And we do the next meeting right now, the next general meeting open to the public will be right now. It's scheduled for December 23rd. I know that's 2 days before Christmas, so we can have that conversation now or later as well if you guys would like to postpone it till January. I'll leave that up to you guys.
I think let's have another conversation and discuss who's taking leave around that time as well. Yeah. Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a great day ahead.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
That's great. Thank y'all.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.